Hello, this is Angelique with the Gaston County Public Library, and I'm back with Andrew and Kendall for another episode of We're Booked Up, where we talk about books. Today we'll be talking about Bright Lights, Big Christmas, another holiday novel by Mary Kay Andrews. You may remember we read her book, The Santa Suit, in our first season. If not, you should go back and listen. It's a good episode. There will, of course, be spoilers, potentially for both. All right, now, what have we been reading or watching?
I read this. I read for book club we did Michelle Obama's The Light We Carry. That was good. I've not watched anything like new and exciting, so I've just been watching old episodes. We had to get through. There's a lot going on here at the library last couple of weeks internally, so I just didn't get a lot read. So I got this read, and I finished it about 45 minutes ago.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
How about you, Kendall?
Snaps.
Snaps, yes.
I could not remember anything I watched, and then I looked at my notes, and I watched Quiz Lady with Sandra Oh and Awkwafina.
Oh, yeah.
It was just funny and like a good feel. It was a good watch. I really enjoyed it. I mean, it wasn't like the most gangbusters amazing movie I've ever seen, but it hit the nail on the head for what it was, and so Marcus really liked it too.
I like Sandra Oh. I mean, we think of her as these kind of dramatic roles, but I like when she's funny. She's a very, very talented comedic actress.
I wasn't really expecting it, and I don't know why, because I've seen her in her range of just everything, but like she's coming up in these like skimpy little dresses, and I'm like, this is Christina Yang. She's serious. She wears a diaper to surgery, like, and
I
yet.
forgot about that. Sorry, that was funny.
No, it was really, it was a funny
That's
movie.
Cool. Yeah,
and
she's funny.
I never would have expected like Awkwafina to be the straight man to the comedic. It was funny. The comedic. What is it? What is the opposite of the? You know what I'm talking about? The comedic foil.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
The Niles to Frasier kind of thing. Yeah,
yes.
yeah. But if you ever saw Killing Eve, that was actually it was a drama, but it had a lot of like dark humor. So I.
Well, even the professor one where she was
The Chair.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a kind of a comedic role
Yeah,
too.
it was kind of.
I really love Sandra Oh.
She's very talented.
Did you see her in Will Be Wonderful? It's like a little Canadian movie.
No.
She's good in that one, too.
I loved her in Sideways. Way back, 2004, it was Alexander
I've never
Payne.
seen it. Marcus hated that movie, and so
Really?
So we get a lot of gag gifts from our friend Doc.
Yeah.
Pertaining to Sideways.
Okay. I loved that movie. I can't believe Marcus and I usually have similar.
Actually, you
tastes.
guys do have similar tastes.
So I loved that movie, but she was good in that too, and that was kind of my first introduction because I saw that before literally the next year that's when Grace
came out.
Yeah. So that's cool. I'll check it out. I like Awkwafina. She's funny.
It's just a good feel good. It's a good like cozy Saturday afternoon movie.
Awesome.
Sorry. I feel like I'm going to sneeze. Sorry.
God bless you. Elephant.
Did I?
Look at the light.
Are you having a stroke over there? What are you talking about?
No, that's what you do when someone has to sneeze. It either makes them sneeze or they don't feel like they have to sneeze anymore. But now I'm itchy.
Giraffe. Zebra. Look at the floor. What is that?
I feel like you're sending me word codes to activate me as a sleeper agent.
Well, that's what it felt like to me. I was like, okay. Anyway, Angelique, what have you been watching or reading?
Anime. I watched a lot of anime.
Yeah, you were talking about some you had liked.
I've got like 4.
What are they?
I'm watching. Spy Family. I don't know if it's called Spy X Family or Spy Family. I haven't actually heard it said out loud. And then The Apothecary Diaries. Something called Frieren Beyond Journeys In. I put them down on the paper so I'd remember. And then something called My New Boss is Goofy, which is just a little weird.
Feels like you're targeting me on that one.
No.
Okay.
And then I read System Collapse, the new Murderbot book.
Was it good?
Yeah, I liked it.
How many
Good.
stars?
Probably 4.
Ooh.
Yeah, I
Okay.
liked it.
Good.
Good book.
I'm actually excited. Because book club in December, we just pick our books.
Mm-hmm.
So December's like the one month of the year I can choose what I want to read. And I'm super, super excited about it.
What are you going to choose?
I have no idea, but
No pressure.
I know, but it's just, I have piles at home that I've never gotten to. So, because I'm always like, I'm going to get 2 of these. And then I barely get to the books I'm supposed to read. So, hopefully next time I'll have some updates.
Ooh.
Yes.
All right, are we ready?
Let's do it.
Okay, we're going to read the synopsis and then we'll get to the rating. Are you going to sneeze, Kendall?
No, I'm just trying not to breathe heavily into the
Kangaroo.
mic.
Look at the table.
I'm not that weird. It's not weird. It's a thing. I don't know.
Go for it.
All right. It's a long way from a Christmas tree farm in the mountains of North Carolina to a certain street corner in Greenwich Village, but Carrie Tolliver, newly unemployed and romantically unattached, reluctantly agrees to make the trek and live in a tiny vintage camper with her gruff older brother and his dog Queenie, out of family loyalty. Selling Christmas trees at the family stand on a sidewalk in New York City, Carrie is startled to find herself beginning to feel at home in this quirky little corner of the city and succumbing to the charms of Patrick, a single dad, and his adorable dragon-loving son, Austin. When a secretive elderly neighbor goes missing with the holidays fast approaching, Carrie discovers her new friends have become family and maybe more. Surrounded by warm childhood memories, sparkling possibility, and the magic of Christmas, will this small-town girl surrender her heart to the bright lights of the big city? So,
Good synopsis.
Yeah.
Accurate.
Yeah, very accurate. Yeah.
All right. What about our ratings?
You go first.
2 stars.
I
Maybe 2.5 after conversation. I don't know, but 2 stars.
yeah, I mean, I'll give it a 3 just because it did exactly what it was supposed to do.
Did it?
I mean, didn't you make you feel good? No. Okay.
Ish.
Okay. I mean,
There's some real, there were some positives that
Yeah.
I'm happy to talk about.
okay. It felt like another cheesy Christmas novel for me. So I mean,
Oh, definitely.
yeah. And so if that's what I went in with the mindset of, is that this is supposed to make you feel warm, it's supposed to be cheesy, and it's supposed to be romantic, and so it didn't surprise me. It wasn't like groundbreaking or whatever, but it's exactly what I expected.
Yeah.
And I had some of those Christmassy feels or whatever that you're supposed to
Yeah,
have.
yeah.
So knowing that's what it set out to do, that aspect, it was relatively successful.
But did it make you feel like you had just drunk a cup of warm cocoa?
Forgot about that. No, maybe no. It wasn't as cocoa-y.
That's why I gave it 2, maybe 2.5 stars, because that's half of 5. It's half of 5.
I will say,
I mean, it sounds like I'm trying to convince you to go lower. I'm sorry.
kind of are. You're like,
Sorry.
what's wrong with you?
I am. I'm sorry.
What is your rating?
Probably about 2.5 to 3.
Okay.
This is the first time I've given the lowest rating.
I know. I'm kind of shocked.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys will bring me up then, because
Maybe, maybe not. Maybe you'll bring us down.
I'm about to say, we tend to go the other way if someone's like...
There's nothing that says Christmas spirit, like somebody bringing the party down.
Right.
So basically, I gave it that rating because I liked it better than the other one.
You did.
Yeah.
I want to know why.
Okay, I'll tell you.
Okay, I'm excited to hear.
This feels like it's going to get controversial or something, like, or confront, like...
I'm not meaning it to be combative.
Confrontational, that's the word.
You want me to tell you right now?
I mean, if it goes in if
What's
you can fit it in somewhere else in your structure, I can go
Is
with
the
that.
first question like,
I'm genuinely.
did we like it?
What is the first question?
Yeah, what was your first impression of Carrie Tolliver, the main character?
I mean, she was fine.
I mean, I will say, when I was like, we're on a Christmas tree farm in North Carolina, I'm like, oh, hello, Hallmark. Like, that's what that felt like. Like, the setting was very, like, at least, I will say, I thought that's where they were going to, big bright lights, big Christmas makes sense now. I didn't really think it through. I thought to myself, oh my gosh, it's going to be one of those Christmas tree farms and log cat. It's going to be literally the Santa suit, like, all over again. So at least they had a different setting, and it kind of branched out from my initial impression.
One of my strong positives was I feel like taking it to New York City and doing the opposite of that Hallmark vibe of taking, instead of like big city girl goes to small town and realizes she likes a tiny life. And instead this one was like small town girl has big dreams, goes to big city, and
But
that
she
can come to fruition.
Came from a big city too. So she came from the small town, but then she spent some time in like Raleigh and Charlotte.
Yeah.
So, she just was another Hallmark character. I didn't dislike her. She wasn't offensive or anything.
Yeah, I liked her better than I liked Ivy. I liked her better than I liked Ivy, but also she was still kind of just an avatar for a person, which that fills the role, the purpose. It gets me involved in the story.
Okay.
What about you?
Ready for the? Oh, what about me?
Yeah.
I liked her well enough. She's about the same as Ivy. She
Yeah.
didn't really stand out much in any way.
Mm-hmm.
She had this habit of this one thing I didn't like, but we can probably cover that later.
But she's like Ivy, I think, too, where they pair up all these quirky characters that have more personality around her. So you're right. It is kind of that she's the center of it, but
Yeah.
She's
the
like
personality
an everyman character
yeah.
that you can
Mhm.
hopefully relate to and understand how she reacts to things. Did the characters seem believable to you? Did they remind you of another character?
I mean, she reminded me of Ivy.
Yeah.
They were all kind of stock. It was like, Murphy was gruff, but then he comes around.
But did he come
No.
around?
I
I
don't
feel like he
know.
stayed kind of gruff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there were like moments where he like pecked her on the cheek or was like
Yeah.
sweet, and that was probably as much as you were going to get from him. He got his hair done and
Oh my
all that
gosh.
stuff. That was funny.
Can I tell you my very first reaction to Murphy? Like when they described him, I was like, she's describing him like a TikTok thirst trap. Like big, burly, bearded, coming out of the woods.
Like that guy who cuts wood.
Yes, and once like two chops, this massive. I mean, I'm sure it's physics and not necessarily his massive muscle.
Maybe it is. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I think I would anyway. I'd be equally as intrigued if a tiny person came and did that. It'd be like
Yeah.
just as impressive. Like anyway, but I was like, okay, I could get behind Murphy, and then everything the sister said about Murphy just kind of felt like, why are you so misogynistic, Murph? Like I'm a girl, I can do it.
That's what I didn't like. I understand why she was saying it, I guess, but we never saw any evidence of him doing
I
that.
I don't-
never saw it. He
Yeah.
was the one that was like, you can drive the trailer. And she goes,
Yeah.
but I can't drive the trailer. And he was like, but you used to drive to all those horse shows.
Yeah,
I
and
think
towing a
his
boat.
problem was that she didn't know how to do anything because she had never been up there, not because she was a woman. Like if his mom had been up there,
Yeah.
he would not have questioned
No,
anything because his
yeah.
mom knows what to
I
do.
feel like the same.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
side note, like he kept being like, you need to watch The Stand because she kept leaving The Stand.
Yeah.
How many times is she going to leave The Stand unattended with a 14-year-old boy?
Yeah.
And then also, how could she like go and decorate someone's entire house in like 26 minutes? Like some of that, like when she would just disappear and, oh, well, I've agreed to it, but you've already talked about how you don't have any coverage. Like Murphy's tired, you need to go get new trees. And they're like, I'll come decorate your whole house. And then, boop, that's
All
done.
Murphy does is sleep. The first three quarters of the book, he says, I'm tired, I'm going to bed. Or he's just waking up. Like,
Yeah.
But that's because you're only seeing it from her perspective.
Yeah.
So when she's asleep, it's just, I'm sleeping. And then Murphy wants to sleep. But they never actually tell you what Murphy, like,
Is he
other than
running
he's
his
delivering.
He's running. I think they're running the stand overnight.
But okay, that must be what it is because no one's going to be getting like tree deliveries at 3 a.m.
Well,
Like,
it's gonna be around. I mean, I know the city never sleeps, but
I mean, it
I've
does
been in big cities. Yeah, no
sometimes.
one's gonna be like,
Maybe they just don't want to leave it unattended.
That is also true. Also,
Yeah.
we need to get into
Yeah.
maybe not right now. Keep going. Let's talk. Keep going.
So what are we What are we on?
I don't know.
We were
Oh,
talking
what
about
did you?
the
Oh, did the characters
Characters.
remind you of anyone?
I mean, they reminded me of the characters in the other book.
well, they're just the stock,
like she just copy pasted them.
A little.
the
a
grumpy
little.
old man who has a heart of gold who almost dies.
I liked this grumpy old man
Yeah.
better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then you're talking about how like, you thought he was
I
gonna die on
know,
the
I
bench,
really
and then we
did
thought
think
this
he
guy
was
was gonna die. I'm like,
I-
how many old men are you almost going to kill, Mary
Man,
Kay
a
Andrews?
lot. I really thought he was gonna die. I did.
Yeah. At least this one there was like a build up to it. It wasn't just he fell asleep on the bench and
Well,
that
he
was
didn't
it.
actually die in the sand suit. We just thought he was gonna die.
Well, I'm sorry. He was like, he finally like the
Was
first
happy.
guy. Yeah, he got everything he needed, and he felt fulfilled, and like he just ate his little peppery mint thing, and like took a little snoozer on the bench, and I was like, he's dead. He just went to Jesus. He is gone.
So at least this one there was a little more build up. Like he did have
Yes.
double pneumonia or whatever, so he could have actually
Yes.
died.
So, I think Patrick was basically a copy paste of Ezra.
Yeah. Oh
No,
God.
disagree. I miss Ezra and his like inability to like his mother and his cute butt because I feel like Patrick was the like just awful.
He was.
Really?
He kept pushing her.
Yeah,
Yes,
he really did.
that
Yeah.
was-
Pushing her.
I think that must be a vibe she enjoys that I don't really want to. So he puts his hand up her sweater. Like, I think that is something she just likes to write.
Okay.
Well, and then like they make the ex-wife like completely
Horrible.
horrible. Yeah, and it's like,
It-
okay, I get that you have to have some villains, I guess. So you have the random guys across the street, which amounted to nothing, and that was
I think like, okay, yeah, keep going.
so that was one where I was like, oh, and then all of a sudden someone posts on the TikTok and the
Yeah.
Instagram, and now the other guys are gone. Murphy punches them out, and that's it. Like, that's not really a villain. Like,
No.
nothing.
Well, every time anything happened, they were like, those dastardly duo.
I know.
Like,
I put it.
there
That's
was
what
never any proof.
that's what I put
And
in
we
my
didn't know
notes.
who they are.
I called them the dastardly villains. The
I
Bodie
love
Bros.
you. I love you, but I did. I was like, okay, so here's what I think they should have done, or she should have written. Yes, had those dastardly, like, big guy, corporate guys coming in, and maybe they do steal the bike the one time because there was proof of that or whatnot.
yeah.
Like, Austin caught him. Cool,
Yeah.
cool. But everything else, slashing the tires or
Yeah, we have
doing
no
X,
idea.
Y, or Z. I think it would have been more interesting to have a former paramour of Murphy be like coming in and being really salty about his new relationship with the other
Claudia?
Claudia. Is that her name? I
Yeah.
get them all confused. I think that would have been far more entertaining and have the dastardly duo just be a red herring. And then they could be like, oh, I don't know. It would have been more interesting than just these people that we never talk to, we never see. They
We don't
never
know them.
Speak.
I mean, how can you have a villain you're not even sure who they are?
Like Murphy comes back with what, a black eye or
Yeah,
something
he's
like that?
I took care of that.
Well, no, you didn't because they slashed your tires.
Okay, she's definitely gonna break this down. that's the score's definitely going down.
I'm so sorry.
No. The more you put, yeah, that didn't work. What was your? So I will say, but the characters were definitely kind of stock. Everyone's like a stock.
Yes.
You know.
There was definitely a lot of warm elements, like the mom that had the twins where she would allow them to shower.
Yeah,
Oscar
also-
and Elmo.
Do what?
Oscar and Elmo.
Oscar and Elmo. Yeah. But I mean, like, okay, so, but that was the other thing, though, is that I get that the idea of you have this quirky little neighborhood in New York City, and it's warm and it's inviting, and everyone's really friendly, and I think that's great. Diverse
up.
characters, you know, it was that part was cool, but it was like they meant to the big city, and then they took big city, a small town,
I
and they
know.
shoved all
Yeah.
the small town Stars Hollow quirks into this big city.
Yeah, it's called Bright Lights, but they don't go and do any big city fun things. There's no dating. It's all in the stand where
Right.
nothing happens.
Other than trees are being sold. Like, that's it.
And then she does so good that, you know what would have been fun is if when Murphy went back down to North Carolina to get another batch, he gets stuck there. And then maybe Patrick and Carrie have to run the stand together in order to, like, keep up with everything. And, like, that's when she can figure out, oh, maybe I can make these reads and da-da-da. Like, have the conflict be that. Because I feel like this relationship with Patrick kind of came out of, like, nowhere. Like, I'm sorry, she's dirty, she's greasy, she's not showering, she can't use, the bathroom.
Right,
Like,
right.
I mean, I just
And yet
feel
you're in a trailer 5 feet from your son, and you're trying to.
least favorite moment.
Yeah,
That was
gross.
gross.
Least favorite. Why are you getting frisky? You talk about how Spammy is so tiny in a tin, like a little tin
Right, and also
can.
it's like your
child
family
is
lived
right
in there, and and your brother's bunk is right there, and then your like 8-year-old child is still like,
let me go into the bathroom and
Yeah,
just
yeah.
get out of these
Mm.
extra sweater layers. It's like, come on, Patrick. Shame on you. You know better.
Yeah.
You're a parent.
the
This
boxer
is your
thing
his
was
parent.
funny.
Yeah,
That was the only part of that was kind of like, oh, that was like the one like cute, funny,
yeah.
you know.
I thought it was nice that she made Patrick allergic to Christmas trees. I feel like that should have been a bigger thing.
I know. It just kind of popped up every once in a while.
I
I took
He
it
should
into
have been
histamines and I
allergic.
fell asleep. What?
He should have been allergic to her.
Oh my gosh,
honestly.
especially or Queenie, because
Yeah.
they say that Queenie smells like Christmas trees.
Yeah.
And
All right. Next question.
We are just
I'm
dang.
so
No, I love it. It's
sorry.
funny.
I
It
can't
is
believe
funny.
it's me this time.
All right. Did the book's pace seem too fast, too slow, just right?
The pacing was fine for me. It started off slow. I got better into it as it went along.
It's a super quick read.
Yeah.
I mean, I stopped reading it and picked right back up, and it was fine.
Yeah.
How
Short
about you?
chapters, kind of did the short chapter thing.
Yeah, you know I'm a sucker for that now.
I
Thank you,
know.
James Patterson. I'm conditioned.
I think it was better than the other one, honestly.
I can agree to that because
Yeah.
that other one, the Santa suit, it dropped off after the first third
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
the book. It
Yeah.
stayed more consistent.
Wasn't as cohesive as this one. All right. Favorite moment or quote or your least favorite?
Okay, least favorite we've discussed.
I took a picture of a few, and
Okay.
now I can't find it because apparently I don't know how to make this work. Okay, so Mary Kate Andrews wrote one called Blue Christmas, and I think it had something to do with like Elvis and like the blue like country, and so there's a point where she mentions For the next 15 minutes, Murphy randomly played that instrument.
Yes.
But he
That was
performed
fun.
Man of Constant Sorrows, Foggy Bottom Breakdown, and Orange Blossom Special. And I grew up listening to James Taylor, Motown, and my parents, and this bluegrass country music. And so it's interesting that she's incorporating, she must be a huge bluegrass country fan because those are like old standards, like Mother Maybelle Carter used to do. So I liked that moment just because it was interesting. I will say, I mean, I don't remember if the Tullivers, I think they were mentioned in the Santa suit, like their Christmas trees. I'm not sure.
I think Ezra lived on an old Christmas tree farm. I think that was mentioned at some point.
Okay.
Do we think the Tullivers put the previous Christmas tree farm out of business?
Let's hope so.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's the drama I'm looking for.
But I will say it was interesting when she was like, "Oh, the Santa suit." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." So at least there's like a world, it's kind of like that.
It's nice as in Tar Burton. Side note, did you notice that they named their child Nick?
Yes, after
What's
Santa Claus.
What's the next one going to be called? Chris? We just call him Chris Kringle.
Wow.
Tim Allen, you coming next?
Have a girl call it Mrs. Claus.
It's the poor child's name, y'all.
Nick is a very normal name.
I know, I'm messing.
being very mean.
And then the other one I liked was the Don't Get Me Started. Blood feuds have erupted over this very issue. Eastern Carolina barbecue sauce can be any cut of meat, and the sauce is thin and vinegar and pepper based. To me, it tastes like bitterness and regret. On the other hand, Western North Carolina barbecue is divine. It's smoked pork butt with a thick, rich sauce that uses ketchup and some brown sugar. I just like that because anyone who lives in North Carolina knows this like great feud between the two of them. And so that was cool that detail kind of got thrown in. So I just kind of liked like little offshoot moments, like the little connection back to Santa Suit and the little cultural things. Just as a North Carolinian and a Southerner, I appreciated some of those.
Same.
So,
It makes me want to know, what's your preferred barbecue flavor?
I actually did an internship at the courthouse, and the woman I worked with, her son for a while worked at like a barbecue thing. He developed his own barbecue sauce, and it was kind of a combination of the two.
Kind of like Kyle Fletcher's?
Yeah. So it had a lot more vinegar, but it still had the sweet. I think it just depends on my mood.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I grew up in the Western, of course, because we're here in the Western part of the state. But I like some vinegar too. So I don't actually have a favorite. I know that's like the least North Carolina thing ever. I'm going to always go for the Western probably over the two just because that's what I grew up with.
How about you, Angelique?
I don't really like barbecue that much.
I love you.
So, I mean, I'll eat it, but
Let's edit that out in case we offend anyone.
No,
I'm
I'll
No, that's
stand
okay.
by it.
I'm probably the least Southern of the three of us. As I just said it like Matthew McConaughey.
I'm probably the least Southern. Yeehaw. I'm like,
Three of
jeez.
us.
But anyway, that was just neat. I think Mary Kay Andrews I don't know if she lives in North Carolina, but I know she's in this area a lot. So she clearly, that was cool again, we are from North Carolina. So if you're going to make this story, have some of those cultural moments so that it feels like it's a little
She
authentic.
lives in Atlanta, Georgia.
Never mind.
Let's see. I liked Astrid, the little shop girl
Yeah,
who
me too.
like made her feel like she belonged in an expensive store.
Oh, who was from North Carolina?
Mhm.
Yeah, she was cool.
I'd never heard of the word though.
Cersei?
A
Yeah.
Cersei?
Yeah, I've never heard that.
I've heard
either.
that word. I've used that. Yeah.
It's just interesting to me. I'm like, okay, well, I get that I'm not the most Southern North Carolinian, but
I think that's an
still.
older thing. So I feel like your parents probably, like if you said Cersei,
Maybe.
it would probably register more for them. Because I think I've used, like my parents, they've used it. That's how I know about it.
But then there was like I feel like there was one quote that I liked. Never argue with a customer who wants to pay you what you're worth. Too many women undervalue themselves.
Yeah, that
Page
was
Yeah, she was
95
cool.
Susanna.
She was cool, yeah.
I liked her. And then there were a couple other moments that I did enjoy. Like I really loved Heinz. Do you ask about characters or anything like that?
Yeah, you can.
I really liked Heinz's
Mhm.
character arc. I liked his reveal. I liked being able to go up into his apartment and see that he was like, you knew he was an artist, but then like to see like it enriched his story. I feel like to like be able to kind of visualize what his apartment looked like and the art on the walls and the story with his, partner and everything like that. It was just very, I don't know, I liked it.
Yeah, it was a good
Yeah.
story.
I liked we talk about some of those characters like the mom with the twins. I liked the guy who invited her to the Christmas party, like he and his partner, and
Mhm.
like some of those odd Astrid, some of those kind of off characters where you didn't get a lot of them, but they were nice little exclamation points that kind of broke up you knew what was coming kind
Yeah.
of thing. I hated that kid. I know you're supposed to love the
Austin.
kid, but he was annoying.
He was. I'm sorry. She wrote him like he was 5, not like
Yeah.
he was 7, 8 years old.
Yeah.
He's a little bit too precocious.
A little
A
bit.
little bit.
And also, if I had just wandered off in the middle of New York City, I would never been allowed out of that apartment again. I mean, they were just like, don't do that again. I was like, no, that kid's bad. Bad news.
Okay, so like I get why he's bad news though, because his parents are just so dismissive of him. Like he felt like he had to like drink a whole bunch of chocolate milk and gag himself to the point of vomiting to go back and look for somebody that he cared about.
Yeah.
That's just not okay. Or then like when he got out of bed later and Patrick was like, go to bed. You shouldn't be out of bed.
Oh, just because he wanted to get frisky.
Yeah, I know, but I'm sorry, you're a dad first.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. So when he was literally across the bunk from you, you're like, let's get it on. But when he maybe wanders out, like you.
It's like he just.
So we have to go to the shower.
It's like he just realized that the doors in his own apartment have locks. I'm like, come on. And honestly, like, why were they just not going up to the apartment? Why were they in Spammy at all?
Yeah.
Come on now.
Okay,
it was
I know that there were some money issues and they kind of laid that on thick, but really, you lived in the dang, like you couldn't have. I don't know. That whole setup premise of like you have to stay in the trailer where it's cold, and I'm like, you can't
Yes.
find some cheap like.
Side note,
Airbnb.
well, at that point, why couldn't Murphy had stayed with Claudia like he
Yeah.
was? Like, or I don't know.
I think they just wanted to. I think she was like they had to be near the tree stand.
So I know, but like, I don't know.
But they could have. Yeah, one of them could have stayed with Claudia while the other one was watching the tree stand, and then if they ever
Yes.
yeah.
I don't know. Just the idea that they don't have access to regular anything, that they have to depend on if someone is working at
Yeah.
the place, like Lombardi's.
You know that first night she got there and she goes and she gets like a bowl of soup and a glass of wine
Mm-hmm.
and then she leaves and they're
Mhm.
closing down. All I could think is like she's gonna have to pee again in an
so
hour.
bad. So
What's
I
she
think they
gonna
just
do?
wanted Spammy to be like a character as part of the whatever, and so I get that, but then Burf
There's
was
some
like, I'm done with it.
There's some logistical errors in there,
Yeah.
but I get. I mean, Spammy was cute.
Yeah. Anyways, could have given it a working toilet, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, after all those years, you couldn't figure out.
Yeah.
Well, I was okay that maybe it wasn't working the first day that you have to get things hooked up. I don't know. They feel like they're like, oh, we can afford to buy a new Spammy now. I'm like, after one, I don't know. I just feel like
Yeah, because they
updates
made
could
it
have been
seem
made.
like, I mean, they had like 8 trees left. When he left, it was like we might get into the black. So then all of a sudden they sell like the 20 or so more trees he's able to bring up because it wasn't that many, right? It was like 20 or
No,
30,
I
and
don't
all of a
have-
sudden we can buy a brand new trailer.
I have no understanding
I will
of their
say
They were
there's,
business.
selling like $1,200 trees.
I have no understanding of their business.
No.
Why? I don't know. I will say though, I like that there was a Fraser fir because we would go to, the West Jefferson area to get our Fraser firs.
Yeah.
Not West Jefferson. It was just like beyond Boone. Anyway, like we would do that and get a nice Fraser fir. Like that was nice. Thumbs up there.
Again, that part, like the culture, and I mean, we are the big Christmas tree producers, and so the North
Mhm.
Carolina part worked better for me than the.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Okay, so there's one more thing I want to talk about.
Yes, please.
Her outfit for the party sounded really stupid.
I agree. What was with that? She had a normal outfit and then she put on a blanket.
Yeah. As a
Oh,
skirt.
she's so quirky.
But then no one complimented her on it.
I
Did you ever
know,
notice
it was
that?
pointless.
Nobody said, "Oh, that's a cool idea with the skirt." Like she just walked in and everything was. They were just chit chatting.
Was she wearing a blanket?
I don't know.
These people can afford $1,200 trees. Okay, they got some money. Okay, let's just say that.
Yeah.
It's
Like they
sad.
know you're living inside of a tin can with no running water. Like you could just wear pants.
Yeah. Did she take a shower before they went to the party?
I don't know. I think she showered like 3 times.
Yeah. They probably
Like-
smelled like, and they had
In the
like,
whole month.
and they had like that barrel for fires. They probably smelled like smoke and
Mhm.
sweat and pine trees, which gross. It's like bringing down the Duke, where they just don't bathe. Just everybody's smelling. It throws me off. Anyways,
Honestly, that's all I kept thinking about with you, Angelique, is your comment when we were doing Bringing Down the Duke. You're like, everybody of that era smelled. And then I just keep thinking about Patrick, who kept like leaning in for a kiss. And I'm like, when was the last time you brushed your teeth, friend?
Maybe Patrick also smelled. Maybe this is like, you know.
Maybe his allergies were preventing him from smelling her.
See, that would have been a plot twist. That would have made more sense.
Like he takes the antihistamine and then he just takes a step back.
No, he took the antihistamine, and then he was like, let's curl up at the trailer next to my 7-year-old son.
Oi. What else you got?
Okay. Which character or moment prompted the strongest emotional reaction for you? Where was there one, or why not?
I guess the Hines stuff. I mean, I will say it went on too long. I don't know. It felt like, oh, we need one more plot device because nothing's really happened. You know what I mean? Like so it actually was a plot device. But you're right, because I did like Hines as a character, learning about his partner, learning about, you know, what he gave up, and the whole idea that he literally just locked his door and went to live in a basement. I mean, that was real grief.
Yeah.
You know, and that was a very visceral, and it explains why, you know, he seemed kind of gruff and grumpy. It seemed why he was eccentric, because, and that's, I mean, we know people like that. I mean, a lot of hoarders start like that. Someone they die and they just can't control it, so it piles over them. So that, I guess, was a very emotional response. Although by the end, I was kind of like, okay, what is kill him or don't kill him? Like, let's move on here. I didn't want him to die, but you know what I mean?
I mean,
like,
once she intervened, I was like, okay, he's gonna live. But I thought I don't know. I actually thought he was gonna be homeless. So to me, that was a nice like twist to find out that he was the richest guy on the block and that he, you know, owned everybody. But
then she like went into his studio and was just like, all of a sudden I'm painting because I'm in a studio.
So her surprise at the fact that he would be uncomfortable in his apartment was kind of
irritating.
Like he was living in a basement, so he didn't have to live in his apartment. Everything had looked like it had been suddenly abandoned, and she was just like, "Oh, why would he be surprised to be here?" Like she didn't like connect
Also,
those dots.
yeah.
Like, yes.
Also, a little bit of Pine Sol and fresh new sheets. That place needs like a fumigation.
Probably.
And they're all hanging out like it's the most comfy place in the world. I'm like,
I agree. That goes kind of like the Santa suit with the Rose's house, and it's been abandoned for
Like,
40s,
she's
which is
itchy.
kind of the same because it was 1992. Like Andrew was one.
I was 2. Thank you.
And so it's just been abandoned. Like he was like the
27
coffee
years.
was still in the pot, except it wouldn't have been. It would have evaporated by then. Come on, evaporates after a weekend. Come on, people.
Oh, and then but the half and half of it had like hardened. I'm like,
Yeah.
that would stink.
Yeah.
It would
It would
smell awful.
so bad in there. Things would
Yeah.
be growing. It would be musty. Like
I remember you were like the Santa suit. You're like, you would be itching.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm,
like
mhm,
that's
mhm,
yeah.
mhm. Okay, so we're gonna maybe have to chalk that one up to Christmas magic.
It's always Christmas magic.
Well, yes.
Everything is just he can't smell. It's Christmas magic.
Yes. I don't know. I feel like it would have been nice to have a few more of those touches that were in the Santa suit in this book. Like maybe they brought some of the candy from that special store, that the peppery mint candy. Or, maybe they went and did some of the big city things. There was...
Because they talked about she talked about when she was a kid, her mother did those things. Like they went to the ice skating rink at Rockefeller. Like there was some comment about we did all the big city things.
Oh, I really appreciated that she did not end up getting the mom and dad back together.
Yeah.
I assumed that they were going to be like, oh, they're going to fall back in love after he's had 2 other wives.
I kind of like the
Much
mom because
younger
mom's like, I kicked it. Bye.
I
Go back
needed
to
a
your
really
chippy.
big glass of wine. You're alive. I can move on.
That relationship was probably the most realistic of the bunch.
Yes.
Because I know a lot of people like that. Like, I won't say who it is. I have a coworker whose parents have long been divorced, but they both got sick at the same time. She's like, I put them in the same house. I'm not going to 2 houses to take care of you. And she was like, and she's like, they just got to get over it. So that is
happened
kind of
with my Nana and Papa.
really.
They separated. And then health issues happened. They got stuck back into the same house.
So that
Poor
felt
them.
realistic. So that was, yeah. But isn't it sad that the most realistic relationship is the one where they were divorced, they end up going back to their separate houses, and she drinks wine?
Yeah. I
Not
don't
the
know.
actual, like, romantic relationship.
I liked Claudia. I feel like Claudia and Murphy probably were a little bit more like
Interesting.
yeah, I think that they were okay. For me, it was just Patrick. I just didn't like anything about it.
Yeah.
Like he had no redeeming qualities for me.
He had a perfect
Yeah.
chest. She
That was
made
a-
some comment about that, and I was like,
That was actually my next question. What did you think of the romance in Patrick?
It was my least favorite.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, like, let Carrie find her passion in drawing and writing a storybook, which seems to be, like, the thing to do in Christmas movies. At the end, you're going to become a children's author. Like,
Yeah.
did she watch Elf? Like, I don't know. But I forgot what I was saying. I didn't really care for Carrie and Patrick. Focus on Murphy and Claudia
Yeah.
as, like, the relationship.
Yeah.
But then he's going to go back. So then their
Yeah.
relationship's like on hold for another 11 months or whatever.
But maybe he doesn't, because the only reason he says he's there is because, this loyalty to his dad, that he has
Yeah.
no real passion, that if he was going to go do anything, he was going to go be a park ranger.
Well, he also said he didn't want to leave the farm when she asked him, like, would you actually leave the farm? And he's like, no, he probably wouldn't.
Maybe Claudia takes her minestrone soup and she kept
Opens
talking about
a-
that minestrone soup. I'm like, okay, I like minestrone soup, but like it could have been that special.
She
anyway,
kept eating it too. Like, maybe
that's
do
a
something
lot
else.
of vegetables. That's all I'm saying.
in a tiny spammy.
Tiny spammy. So it also spelled like pine and sweat and fart.
Pretty much.
Like my brother's room. Anyways,
Oh, that's funny.
yeah. So I found Pat to be pushy, and he
Mhm.
like pressured her a lot. He only knew her for 3 weeks.
Mhm. And he said, "I love you. I want you to move in with me." And then got
No.
upset with her when she was like, "That's a little fast."
Yeah, I have a life I need to take care of first.
Yeah, I feel like she was being super reasonable.
Yeah, she was.
It was like,
And other people were kind of pushy about it too. Like when she met Taryn on the street, and she's like, "Oh, I thought you were gonna stay because you love Pat." I'm like, "No, shut up."
it's been
Mind
2.5 weeks,
I
lady.
know.
But at the end, I know you're the one I want forever after 2.5 weeks. I'm like, we should have a like a Halloween sequel where it
You
didn't
should-
work out.
There should have been an epilogue where like it's just like a sentence. Pat and Carrie did not stay together.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
I will say I'm happy she didn't move in with. I'm glad that
Yeah.
she decided to do like the little tiny apartment, and she and
Yeah.
Claudia are gonna clean it up, and
And
Yeah,
she's
and-
going to work for
yeah.
Heinz. Like, that all makes sense and lets her have a little bit of a buffer while she figures out what she actually wants to
Yeah.
do.
But now Pat knows where she lives. Probably gets in really easy. Now
and the child will
Austin
just
knows
run
where she
across the
lives.
street
Yeah.
anytime and come knock on the
Yeah.
door.
I know.
That kid.
Ugh.
He was just, I'm sorry. As someone who has a 7-8-year-old, that kid was annoying.
Mhm.
That is not a 7 or 8-year-old.
Mm-mm.
As someone who has an almost 5-year-old, that kid was annoying.
Yeah. He was just a plot device, really. Not really his own
I,
character.
like, part of me wants to be like Mary Kay. Like, did you raise your own children? Like,
Maybe it's just been long enough that she's forgotten.
maybe. I
Yeah,
mean,
she
maybe
ain't young.
kids in the 80s were different. I don't know.
Well, they didn't see their kids in the 80s. Remember in the 70s and 80s, there was that commercial that was like, it's 10 p.m. Are your children home? They didn't see their children. And clearly neither do Patrick or Gretchen because they can't seem to keep control of the kids.
Okay. All right. What did you think of the ending, of the resolution to all of it?
I thought it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, the only thing that didn't get tied up was Murphy and Claudia. And I,
That
Yeah.
is not the only thing that didn't get tied up.
okay.
Okay, when Carrie went to go take a shower at the twins'
Mhm.
mom's apartment or whatever, she finds a piece of art that the mom was like, "Oh, I found it in a trash. I never figured out who it belonged to, but I really loved." Kept waiting for her to be like, "Oh, there's a little tree in the corner, and it's clearly Heinz, and like here's this great big connection."
That would have been a cool epilogue.
Yeah.
and
Like her first thing as an assistant, but she's having like lunch with Taryn or something to catch up to thank her.
Yeah.
And she looks over and she sees, I found the first piece or something. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
But no, I'm like, why did you include that?
Yeah.
Why is it in there?
Yeah,
Probably just to add like the mystique of it to the story. Like there's a great artist out there and we don't know who he is. To introduce the idea of Heinz as a great artist, maybe.
Ooh. I have to go back and read that section now to know if she noted the little
True.
show and bomb. I didn't know.
Yeah, I don't remember now.
I think she did connect it to she connected the portrait in Heinz's apartment to the picture in Taryn's apartment. Like they,
Oh, she
because
did?
he's used the same, because it was George, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it was the same person. She recognized it was the same person. She just never followed through with it. She's
I
never
missed
like,
that. It went over my head then. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
she did wrap everything up. Good job, Mary
Except
Kay.
for
Except
Murphy
for
and
Murphy.
Claudia.
Well, to me,
And I liked their relationship better than I liked Patrick.
maybe they need the distance.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just one of those relationships.
Maybe it's just you come into town, we have a lovely time together, and then you go on home. Maybe
Yeah.
Murphy's just too annoying.
Yeah. He is an older sibling.
I mean,
so.
he comes out.
Kind of lumbers everywhere.
Knocks everything over in her part. I don't know. The smell of pine and fart, and it's too much for her tiny apartment.
Maybe.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, it takes his sister to tell him to get a haircut.
Yeah.
Like,
Where did she send him? I feel like he
oh,
would have been able
Patrick's
to afford it.
salon. I don't think he would have been able to
Yeah.
afford it either.
Well,
How did
remember,
he pay for that?
Towards the end, all of a sudden, there was just money everywhere that
Yeah.
apparently...
Sold so many more Christmas trees, which then kind of got me irritated at the very end when she was like, "Oh, there's 3 trees left." Instead of just selling them,
Yeah.
she put up a for free sign. I'm like, you made that mother pay $2.
With her child, it didn't have shoes that worked or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
You could have just said, "Hey, if you want to sell these trees, you can keep that cash." No, she shouldn't have done that. But it's still
Yeah.
like all that work, and then she just is like, it doesn't matter. I'm sorry, Carrie did not care about that Christmas tree stand.
No.
No.
She didn't
No,
care.
she even with the wreaths, it was from the second she could try to do something different.
I also cannot believe that her wreaths would have been that nice. It just feels so
She's an
like
artist.
She's an artiste.
homemaker.
She made him with her mom, and then there's that part where she's talking about giving Murphy his share of the profits. Wouldn't all the profits go into the business? What is she
Mhm.
talk? That's why they get tips. They keep the tips, not the payment for the trees or the.
And let's face it, that kid deserves most of the tips.
I know.
Vic,
14-year-old.
I'm telling you, that
It's
kid
child
worked.
labor.
It
I
is
said
child
that
labor.
in my notes because at first I was like, okay, he was like, man, I got tipped $200 today, and I'm like, didn't you deliver 14 trees? That is
Oh,
not
God.
enough.
No.
You need to get paid
Yeah.
in more than just tips.
Yeah. He's getting an employment lawyer.
Well, his mom, you
Watch his mom.
like you never knew the mom, but the mom was kind of like, yeah, it's time for you to come. Like maybe she was starting to, because then all of a sudden Vic had to go, and maybe mom's like, okay, I'm cutting this off because this is sketch.
Yeah.
We never knew because we never knew the mom, but
Just the number of children that were like, let's go hang out with this burly mountain man and sell trees. I don't know. That would be a red flag for me as a parent.
well, also, I mean, how many people you're like if they were the grumpy gruff, you didn't necessarily want to go hang out with them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds like Murphy was a nice guy, but I don't understand. I just don't understand. I just don't get it. Whatever. This was a nice book.
We just spent 45 minutes this was terrible. I hate this character. This was a nice book. You didn't
Well,
do
it
it
was-
right. This was a nice book. You gotta do
This
Southern.
was a nice book. I can't do it. I can't do it. Anyway, it was okay. I liked the Santa suit better.
If you don't,
Can I find out why you liked this book more than the Santa
I
suit?
don't know. I think
I got convinced her.
no. I still like it more than the Santa suit.
I'm-
I just think it has a more defined conflict and more defined antagonist. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
yeah, because who was it? I mean, that horrible mother.
Who is?
Well, I'm also thinking about the guys, the Christmas tree guys, I guess would be the antagonists, even though they were
Yeah.
very two-dimensional. I was like, I couldn't think of the word. They were just two-dimensional.
Yeah, that's true. But they were still there.
They
and
were still
They
present.
added a
Yeah.
component to the story that.
But the first one had a mystery. That's why I think I liked it better.
And if you're gonna do the cheesy novel,
Well, this
they
one sort
really
of had a mystery.
they really doubled down on the Santa suit on the magic, talk about
Mhm.
those magical moments. I mean, if you're gonna be cheesy, go for it. This one had a lot more, I suppose, realism, or maybe what she thought of it was, but then you missed some of those magic holiday.
Mm. There was no catfishing in this one.
That's right. I liked that storyline though. That was
I
funny.
did too.
And also, I just kind of like the world building in this one a little bit
She
better.
does it-
Her
she-
characters are a little bit better in this one, I feel like.
She does do a good job.
Yeah. So that's why I think it's a better book than the Santa suit.
I appreciate
disagree.
your input. No, we're still gonna. I still think the first book.
No,
was
that's
better.
fine.
But
I
I,
think if
see
you-
I see your point of view.
Yeah.
I think if you don't try to unpack too much,
Yeah.
we can't help it because we're critical people. But if you're just, I think for a lot of people, this is the same. It's like those James Patterson books,
Easy breezy.
easy breezy. They make you feel good at the
Just
end.
read the book and don't think about it.
Right,
Exactly.
right. But people need stuff. We all have those things that we use in our lives, whatever they are, that are those things we don't think about them, but they make us feel good. So
Mhm.
that's why I think I got to the end of it, and then you brought my score down because
I'm sorry.
no. You're right though. I mean, there is a point to I like what was the one we did last year? Let It Snow.
I loved that one so much,
Much better written. There was a lot more. I mean, yeah, there were
Yeah.
issues, there were some things, but it was definitely a lot better written novel, and it still had that like feel good.
more. Yeah.
So,
I'm kind of curious to see if she'll write another one.
oh, I'm sure.
Maybe in a year or two, she will.
And this time it'll be like there'll just be like a random reference to Spammy. Spammy drove by, Murph waved.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing.
The new Spammy. The new
well, because
Spammy.
Patrick owns Spammy now.
Yeah.
Oh, see, he even took her like he's
Yeah.
like taking over her life. He like took her trailer. Sorry. Sorry.
Oh, when he suddenly kissed her, I was so annoyed by that. And then she
Mhm.
was like, "Why did he kiss me? I know people say goodbye like that sometimes in the South." And I'm like, "What?
I wrote that in my
What?
notes too, because I was like, not on the lips, girl.
No."
Not on the lips.
No.
This is not like Mad About You, where they kiss everybody on the lips. Like, I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like they're just ever, but no.
No.
people in the
That
South
was
don't do
established from the beginning, though, and so it wasn't weird in the sitcom
Yeah.
because that's just what they did. Yeah.
It's just what they did, but they don't do that in the South. I am not kissing a bunch of people on the lips.
No.
No.
Line in the sand.
I'm not kissing anybody. Ugh. Jeez.
People
Anyway,
are gross.
I don't
So
know
what
where
is
they've
your-
been.
The
Huh?
number.
I don't know where they've been.
Yeah, that's
Honestly,
true.
now that I live with a bunch of people, the number of people that eat their boogers, I don't blame you for not wanting to kiss people on the lips. It's gross.
Interesting.
Kids are fun.
yeah.
Also, how do they never notice Heinz leaving the building that Claudia lives in? I mean, okay.
I'm wondering if there's like a small side entrance or
Maybe.
like a maintenance entrance or
mean-
something.
And also, I never see my neighbors either. So.
Have you seen the? No, okay, that's way too
Until
off
you answered
topic.
her own question. Yeah. I
Yeah.
can see that. Never mind.
Yeah.
All right, what else you got?
Who would star in the movie of this book?
Oh, I completely forgot about
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think about
Nameless,
it.
faceless.
Whoever we said in the
Get,
Santa
like,
suit.
Santa suit, just the same
We'll
cast.
get like an AI generated version of this movie, and people have like 3 arms and like 4 fingers on each hand, and it'll be fun.
That'd be really
It
weird.
would be really weird.
Yeah, I mean, pick whatever the latest hit Hallmark movie was. and
Sure,
just-
that yeah.
Because
Cool.
there's always like an old character, there's always an
Mhm.
annoying kid. I mean, yeah, it's just this, that, yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
I like that. You're like, please go back to our previous podcast, and whoever we said then, that's who you should.
Yes, that would be season 1, the Santa suit.
All right. Your notes. Do you want to go over your notes, or you?
I don't think I really have any this time. We kind of covered them.
All right. Does anybody have anything else then?
I was just gonna say she.
Oh, okay. I do have one quote.
Okay.
I'll leave this. It really irritated me on the end of one chapter, which was page 191 in our book.
Mm-hmm.
The sentence is, brother and sister watched as Gretchen made her way back to the building. Are they Berenstain Bears? Like, brother and sister. They watched.
They're establishing that the relationship is getting better. I don't know. It's like she was like, I need something whimsical to add to
Brother
the
and
If
this.
it's
sister
bad,
watched.
it's Carrie's fault, anyways. She
couldn't
just keeps
have just-
antagonizing him.
Could have been Murph and Carrie. Like,
Yeah.
Or just they. 'Cause
They
it's
would've
mostly
been
from Carrie's
fine.
POV anyway.
or like maybe they had like Queenie like pop up and be like, Queenie watched as they left. Because Queenie was such a cute character.
Yeah.
What kind of dog was Queenie? Because in my brain,
I
she
heard
was.
Irish setter. I
Yeah.
think she mentioned Irish setter.
Okay, I don't know what that looks like. Because in my head, she is a chocolate cocker spaniel.
We've just created our own character. So Irish setter. Okay, I definitely did not have that.
Okay, yeah, no, that's very similar to a
Okay.
chocolate cocker spaniel.
I don't know. I don't know what I pictured, but it was definitely
She's
not.
big.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
big dog.
That's a big dog. That's why I guess I went cocker spaniel. Like,
No.
like look how little they are with their little
Yeah,
legs.
but then it's like a big farm dog, though. So you got to think about.
Yeah.
You wouldn't tell me that's a Queenie?
Well, I'm just.
That
You know what? If it makes you happy to think of it as a Cocker Spaniel.
It does make
Then
me happy.
that's what it is.
That will make me bump it up to a 2.5.
All right, then it's a dang Cocker Spaniel.
All right, anything else? Are we done? All right.
You like look down. You just like look sad. Are you okay?
Yeah, I just hate that I was the negative
No,
Nelly on
no.
this one.
It's fine. It was your turn.
Yeah.
I know.
We had it coming.
All right. To end this episode, I'm going to promote yet another library e-resource, Freegal. Freegal is a free music service through the library that allows you access to nearly 7 million songs. All you need is your library card, and you can download up to 5 songs a week to keep and stream up to 3 hours of music a day. You can even create playlists or listen to ones created by the service, including holiday music playlists. So if you're looking for some holiday music, you can access Freegal at gastonlibrary.freegalmusic.com or download the Freegal app in your app store. I'll leave a link in the episode description. All right, that's it for this episode. Bright Lights Big Christmas by Mary Kay Andrews is available both in the library and online at the NC Digital Library and through the Libby app. Let us know what you think of the book and what you think of what we think of the book. Just leave a comment at the Off the Shelf blog at gastonlibrary.blogspot.com or at gastonspeaks.podbean.com. Next month's book will be How Can I Help You by Laura Sims. Thanks for listening and happy holidays.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Happy holidays.